Very nice. Where are those loans going to be demographically?
They'll be in Georgia.
In Georgia? Oh, that's beautiful. That's great. Now, are you going to go in with land loans and then eventually do development loans on them, or how's that going to work?
One of them will definitely be. Hopefully, they should both turn into that. To be honest with you.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, again, like, that's why it's so critical to structure those. You could do obviously land to, construction to permanent. I actually like doing bridge loans on land because it's an easier acquisition,
Okay.
and people are able to get the money quicker. Yeah, they're paying a little bit of a higher rate, but if you close in 30 days opposed to 90 days, for example, right, that saves them time. They can start with their plans, permits, approvals, etc. We've
Right.
even done like land loans that then forward into the initial construction draw phases. So that way you can only do like a one-time close, and then we allocate the funds accordingly. So we have a ton of options for those. If you ever want to talk about that off record, happy to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's something I'm trying to familiarize myself with here in the next 24 to 48 hours to kind of have an initial consultation phone call
Sure.
About that process.
Happy to do that with you. I'm going to actually put my, I think I've done it before, but I'm going to put my cell phone number in the chat. So if people want to save it, or Chris, you want to just save it and shoot me a text, happy to schedule a call and go over all that good stuff.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, so we're going to get started quickly. A couple people are joining, it looks like. I just got to figure out this waiting room nonsense. But anyway, so I thought, I said this quote to somebody last week. I said, I've had more clients cancel their deals on both the residential and commercial side in the past 45 days than I've had my clients cancel in the prior 15 years. And, it sounds kind of alarming and staggering. And everyone always asks why. And I think, there's an array of reasons why. I think the main reason is fear. So obviously, if people are fearful, they do nothing. And they look for reasons to get out. That's number one. Number two, people don't have the right education, so they feel like they're making an uneducated decision, which then causes them more fear, right? And three, they lack the basic survival skills of problem solving. And I've had people walk away from $15,000 or $20,000 investments into deals, whether it's a due diligence deposit, whether it's them making repairs because an appraisal was requiring it, and then them walking away. I just look at it as now more than ever, consumers are very much so making their choices based on market headlines rather than market facts, right? So the biggest thing that I keep reiterating to everybody is do not buy the headlines. Focus on the details and the facts as each deal pertains to itself. Yes, inflation is real. Obviously, nobody can argue that. Standing in line last night at the grocery store, and there were two young ladies behind me, had to be in their like mid-20s, and this one girl was like, why do these food costs, why do these prices keep going up? She said it like it was like a cartoon, and the other girl was like clearly the smarter one. She's like, inflation. And like they went on about their conversation, So yeah, look, inflation's real, but now is even more the reason why you want to buy a home. Inflation is not gonna be cured. It's impossible to be cured at this point. The only way to really cure inflation is to crash every single market, right? And then no one's gonna have money to buy anything, which then drives prices down. But the government, the feds are not going to do that. Definitely watch, obviously, what the Fed does over the next couple of weeks. I think, again, as I'll say this, I think we see rates trend lower from now until year end. The stock market right now is off 346 points because of fear that they're going to keep raising rates and economic slowdown, which is going to happen. As we've talked on prior calls, yes, interest rates impact real estate, but they more so impact the technology sector, which is one of the largest employment agencies, right? The tech sector in America right now, Google, Amazon, so on and so forth. So if tech companies start laying off people, defaults happen and valuations decrease and no one gets paid and no one has money. So keep in mind that, Job stability is something to watch. If layoffs happen, obviously, rates are going to have to come down because the Fed can't have unemployment go up, because then they're going to take on that cost as well. So we're going to get into today's presentation. I thought by putting this together, tips to surviving the summer are going to be very crucial. Everyone that I have spoken to in the past couple of weeks has said business has quieted down, slowed down. That's understandably normal this time of year. School's coming to an end, kids are, all over the place. People are traveling for Memorial Day weekend, gearing up for the summer. Weather is nice, people are outside, and there's no inventory, right? There's very limited inventory. So these tips that we're going to discuss today are very simple, and everyone should do it. I don't want anyone ever to message me and tell me that business is slow, you're not succeeding, because if you do exactly what I tell you on this, you have to succeed. There's no other option, right? So the keys to surviving the summer, I wanted to start off with like a little fun video. I think everyone can appreciate this. Whether you like rap or not, it's up to you. All right, so you guys now have the keys to how to survive the summer. So everything great in life is an uphill battle. If it was easy, everyone would do it. If you've ever run on a treadmill and you increase, the incline, it's a lot harder than running straight or running downhill. Everyone can run downhill, everyone can run fast downhill, but when you increase the leverage, yeah, it's going to be hard. But now is the time where you guys can separate yourselves. Be prepared to sweat. Every single weekend, you should be co-hosting one open house on Saturday and one open house on Sunday. Again, that's my personal recommendation. I did that for the first 4 to 5 years of my career. Winter, summer, spring, fall, football season, baseball season, you name it. It's just a great way to form relationships with people. And I think a lot of people are missing out on the point of open houses. Yes, you're there to get business, but you're there for that one-on-one time with that real estate agent. You're setting the foundation, you're believing in them. I can't tell you how many open houses I sat at where literally, nobody came. I had more donuts at the open house, and I think I wound up eating all of them. And the realtor definitely didn't, pay me for them. So you gotta just think that this is an investment in a relationship with somebody. You're not gonna get business from the open house more often than not. Most people already have their people, they're serious. You may meet some people, but really invest in the relationship with the real estate agent, and that will go a long way with them if they value relationships. The next topic is, your competition's at the beach, right? You guys may be at the beach yourselves, but if your competition's at the beach, that means that there's less competition in the business, right? So you got to work when no one else is working. And that's what's going to immediately separate you. It doesn't matter what you look like, it doesn't matter your knowledge, doesn't matter your skill set. You are able to control where you're physically present and located. So if your competition is physically present on the beach in a beach chair, sipping on their whatever people drink at the beach with their feet in the sand and their phone in their bag, not answering, this is your way to get ahead of the curve, get ahead of the competition, and show people that you're available. Early on in your career, this is absolutely a must. Yes, it takes sacrifice, but it'll also bring on rewards, and you'll be able to take business from people that have been doing it for a long time because they're lightening up and they're not on their A game. Again, your competition's not answering the phone. I had a guy call me Monday night, 8:30, commercial client, and said, "Hey, I just wanted to tell you, I really appreciate how responsive you are." I'm like, "Oh, that's really great." By the way, this is a guy that just canceled his $1.9 million deal. I'm like, "Well, I really appreciate how you just canceled this $1.9 million deal, but keep me in mind for the future." He's like, "Look," he's like, "I've been doing this for 15 years now, 20 years now, however long he said." He's like, "You're the most responsive person that I've ever dealt with." And I said, "Well, yeah, I mean, look, again, it was a $1.9 million deal. I usually respond to everybody immediately." And I said, "I understand that in real estate specifically, things happen last minute, things change on a fly, and you need somebody that you can rely on to get you the right information so you can make the most educated decision in a timely manner." And he said, "I never thought of it that way. Usually people get back to me in 3 to 5 days on the commercial banking side." So keep that in mind that, if your competition is not answering the phone, someone might call you as a second, third, fourth, or fifth option. And all you have to do is pick up the phone, and that could be the start to a very successful relationship. So don't take that for granted. Always try and pick up the phone and reply to people in a timely manner. Education, alternate lending options. I had a call this morning with a gentleman, part of this group. He's on the calls frequently. And we spent about 20 minutes going over different lending options, non-qualified mortgage options, bridge loans, hard money loans, construction loans, commercial financing, development loans. And you need to spend this summer educating yourself on alternate lending options. I'm happy to educate you guys on that. I try and do that on these calls, obviously. But the biggest thing is going out there and talking to people about options. Suggest to somebody, hey, do you ever think about maybe, building a brand new home? Or did you ever think about, refinancing this beautiful 20-unit apartment complex? Like, if you guys initiate those conversations, you don't have to be the expert. You just have to let people know that you're thinking outside the box and trying to help them. So alternate lending options are going to be the number one way that you guys survive not only the next 3 months of the summer, but really the next 2 years. Commercial loans come due all the time. Commercial banks drop the ball all the time. And I really feel like every residential mortgage person is the same for the most part. We all have the same rates, we all have the same products, all have the ability to speak, hopefully, right? But what separates people or helps people build business is offering stuff, loan products that other people don't do. So when you walk into a room and 100 people do the same thing, you're one of 100. If you walk into a room and say, hey, we do bridge lending, we do hard money, we do non-qualified mortgages. Now you just went from one of 100 to maybe 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 10. And it's all about probability. So really focus on that. I understand it might be a big learning curve. I understand that some of you may be new in the residential mortgage business, but lending is lending and real estate is real estate and money is money. So it would be beneficial to you to take the time to learn out additional lending products. Personal development. I'm huge on personal development. I've always kind of been, but really in 2017, I really got into it more so. Take care of yourself, take care of your mind, take care of your body, take care of your brain, eat healthy, work out, just keep a healthy lifestyle as much as possible because it helps you stay sharp and it helps you stay motivated. It increases your energy levels. Highly recommend everybody, getting better each day. And I understand it's a world full of distractions, but who you surround yourself with, who you look up to, who you admire, who you spend time with, all that stuff, will impact you both positively and negatively. So try and keep the people that you surround yourself with hopefully equal to or better than you. That way you're able to elevate yourself. Masterminds, like I just kind of touched on, sharpen your circles, spend time with the right people. In the next 90 days, yeah, people are traveling, having fun. It's summer. I was in my hometown this weekend with my son, giving him a tour of my hometown, and we went to the baseball field, and then there was travel baseball going on. We went to the pizza place. The travel baseball team was there eating pizza after the game, and yeah, all that stuff is great. Well, if you're playing travel baseball with your kids and traveling with them, make sure everyone knows that you do mortgages, right? Real estate and mortgages are the hottest topic probably in the country right now. Everyone lives somewhere. Everyone wants to buy a home. Everyone wants to build a real estate portfolio or get rich off real estate. Let them know that you're able to help them do that. Set up your own mastermind, set up your own calls, set up your own in-person meetings. Do what you got to do to really show people that not only are you invested, but you're knowledgeable and you could be the expert. Response time and relationships. I can't even speak. Response time and relationships beat lowest rate all day, every day. Very confident in that. If someone has the lowest rate, that's all they have. So you can offset not having necessarily the lowest interest rate by forming strong relationships, valuable relationships, trustworthy, loyal relationships, and being responsive. So if you want to make money, you want to survive, focus on responding immediately. It's free. And focus on relationships. That's free for the most part, other than investing your time. And I just can't harp on that enough. We're in a world that wants to be serviced, that wants to be replied to immediately, and people will forego or offset lowest cost if they get trust in you and also a response from you. So really focus on that. If you have a notebook, write that down. But that's really the basics on what I think and I recommend is going to keep everybody in the business. Over the next 90 days, it is going to slow down. It is going to be quiet. There's going to be a lot of turmoil, a lot of volatility, but it's your guys' time and your guys' job to stay ahead of the game, get better, and figure out creative ways to market yourself and get business from people. And look, don't be surprised if you get a call one day for a $5 million or $10 million deal. It happens. And when you least expect it, it will happen. You just need to put yourself out there as the expert to do that. I got a message on Facebook today. I got a friend request first, and I got a message from this guy I don't even know. And he sent me a $7 million deal in Puerto Rico. Don't know who he is. Grateful he sent me the deal. It looks like a doable deal, but I put myself out there that we have alternate lending products, right? And by me doing that, that gets me a free lead of a $7 million deal. You know, the average person has a $300,000 mortgage. Well, if you do a $7 million deal, that's like doing 20 or 25 mortgages, residential mortgages, right? So wouldn't you rather have 25 mortgages and a $7 million deal, right? Now you just doubled your business literally, you know, from a Facebook message. So keep in mind, you guys got to stay ahead of that. People are always on their phone. Stay active on LinkedIn, stay active on Instagram, stay active on Facebook and anything else you use, but stay consistent with it. We're going to open this up to a couple minutes of questions. We'll give it about 10 to 12 minutes of questions. Does anybody want to take themselves off mute, ask any questions? I've also been thinking about potentially doing either a 2-week or a 4-week alternate lending boot camp where we'll be on for maybe 30 minutes, you know, every day, 5 days or 10 days. Just to slowly integrate other lending options into these calls. I don't know what you guys think about that, if you guys would be interested in that. But that's something I've considered doing that, you know, if I get enough interest on it, I will set up a full, you know, educational platform for that to help you guys get started and even be potentially a consultant or a resource for you if and when you get these deals. So go ahead and take yourself off mute. If you guys want to start asking questions, happy to get those answered. Who's going first? Tanya, why don't we see you today, Tanya?
I'm here.
There you are. What's going on?
I'm working from the couch. I was trying to look productive by not showing everybody, but you know,
I mean, I got a Mickey Mouse blanket in my background. It's my son's. Don't worry about it.
How's it going?
Good, good. Staying busy, you know. Frustrating. It's a frustrating market and consumers are, you know, more frustrating than ever, but it is what it is. That's unfortunately what it is.
Yeah, we're seeing a pretty big slowdown, but we've got some new stuff going on. We're working on some cool things. We got a guy who's got a bunch of lots who's paired with a builder we've already worked with, and he's trying to sell them through a broker that sells to investors to do a bunch of talking about alternate financing, doing a bunch of these where it's a land build package for rentals. So
is he building individual, like 1 family, 2 family, 3 family, 4 family, or
single family homes in Ocala? I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's growing there exponentially. I think it's the single fastest growing, one of the single fastest growing places in the nation. Like,
is that near like a horse farm or horse breeding or horse
huge
country,
equestrian
right?
Center? Did you read about that? Yeah,
I have a friend that owns
center.
like 5 properties around there. His family's big into the horse breeding and racing business.
Yeah, so that's kind of what we've been doing. My bank has a little branch up there. We've been getting a bunch of business from there. So we've been trying to find the right lender and program for these guys, because this guy wants to sell like 1,000 lots, and the other guy has.
I have one for you, and I'm happy to.
You got somebody?
So I'm gonna give you. This is like kind of what I was talking about as far as like the boot camp would go. I'll give you guys a full example of how that would look, right? So I have a relationship with an institutional lending company out of California. I send them a couple $1 million a month in business. I'm doing 4 deals like this in Texas right now. Average deal size is $1 million. So the way it works is you take the lot price, and you guys could all write this down if you want. You could take the lot price plus the total construction amount. So for example, how much would a lot be in Ocala? 100 grand, if that, or more?
Well, his lot price, the build price is 204.
Okay.
I know that. And I think his lot price is around 70.
So you take the lot price plus the build price, so 70,000 plus 204,000, that gives you 274,000. And then for an experienced builder, right? So you have to have obviously experience building and wherewithal.
I got an experienced builder,
Credit score above 680. And we could do 85% total loan to cost. which is unheard of. You can't even get an investment property with that, right? So we do 85% total loan to cost. So you take 274,000 times 15%. And again, off the top of my head, that comes out to about $40,000. So we would give them one loan of like $230,000 or whatever that 85% total loan to cost is. No prepayment penalty, 18 to 24-month term. And the rate is somewhere between like 7.5% and 9% as of today. It's interest only. But in most cases, just so everyone knows, when someone buys a lot, banks require usually 50% down on the lot, and then they'll do up to 70% of the construction cost, right? So who cares if the rate is 7.5% or 8.5% or even 9%? If you're able to get into the project with 15% on the total project cost, you know, just off the bat, you're saving over $100,000 out of pocket.
Yeah, well, this guy, they haven't been able to find anybody to do these loans. They were particularly wanting one close.
We could do that. So we can go on one individual, we can go up to $10 million at one time. So again, if let's just say the average loan amount is 230,000, for example, we could do 42 or 43 of these to one person. And he would need 1.5 or so million dollars to complete the project.
Well, here's the weird part. So the builder isn't the investor. There's separate investors that are buying the land build package or whatever.
So that,
yeah, and I've got it priced a couple places already, but the one place we have it priced, they do the processing, so they communicate with your clients, and we kind of don't. We'd prefer to be the ones you know, so we don't.
Yeah, I mean, the number one way to lose value is let someone else communicate with your client. You know,
right?
You know, again, my opinion is again because I'm doing literally 4 of these deals in Austin, Texas right now. They're all in for I think it was like $1 million, and then I don't know 5. I think the average total project cost was 1.5 million. Yeah, so it was like $6 million, and they're bringing like 900,000 to the table, and they're going to make like $4 or $5 million in profit on it. So again, you know, it's a very valuable product to have and offer. No one else is doing that in the marketplace on a new construction build at 85% loan to cost. And usually a lender charges, you know, 1 to 2 points. And I usually charge 1 to 2 points on top of that, depending on what the deal is. If I have 4 deals in one, maybe I just charge them like a flat fee because obviously there's 4 deals in one. It's all about the relationship. Yeah. But I guarantee if you like set up a call, I'm happy to even be on the call and just like say we work together just so you could hear like how I speak to the client. I guarantee if you tell them, hey, we're able to get you 85% loan to cost, they won't even care what the rate is, and they'll be very attracted by that lending product. And the best part is they can close in 30 days or less.
That's nice because these are stacked up. Apparently these investors are just like, he's got them lined up all day long. So maybe can I shoot you an email afterwards and see what you got? Maybe we can forge a path there and it'll be better than what we got going on, because we've vetted a couple lenders so far, but aren't really happy with either of the programs yet. Here's
what I've learned. Banks aren't even that good at doing mortgages, right? So then when you add in a construction aspect or a land aspect, right? There's 3 moving parts opposed to 1. You know, we all see what happens when like a loan or a home under appraises, right? Or a client credit score drops. Now you want to talk about, you know, a $204,000 build. What are the hard costs? What are the soft costs? What are the permits? What are the plans? What's the time? It's a recipe for disaster. Now, look, if it was a $5 or $10 million deal, you'd have a more sophisticated audience or pool of investors in the market that helps supply that capital. But on deals averaging 230,000 with construction, you know, the level of sophistication, unfortunately, is not all that great. And then everyone just winds up getting frustrated and banging their heads together. And usually the deal dies, right? So the goal is to give somebody a path of least resistance to getting their project acquired, completed, and sold, or rented, or whatever the case may be.
They want to retain them for rentals. Yeah, that's what their goal is. I mean, we've got some that want to fix and flip too, but the primary right now goal is for them to retain and rent.
So the way that I would structure that is we would do all the construction, have them complete everything. And as they start renting the properties out and finish the projects one by one, we would automatically convert them into like a long-term non-qualified mortgage debt loan or potentially put them in a blanket mortgage across 50 or 100 of their properties, and now look at it as one big deal. That would be the way I would look to structure that, because now you're making money on the construction loan, and then you're making money on the refinance after it's all said and done.
Yeah, and unless they're all, I mean, I know he's got different investors, not the same investor for a bunch of property. This broker has multiple investors looking at
Sure.
purchasing one or more properties each.
I mean, if I was the broker,
And
I'm
then-
just like speaking out loud. If I was the broker, I would roll my commission in. If I'm the real estate broker, I would roll my commission in to equity into the project and then own a piece of the project. I almost sneezed. I'm going to sneeze at some point.
Bless you.
So, thank you. Thank you. So, that's what I would do, right? So this guy's selling $10 million of real estate, right? And he's making 5%. That's 500 grand. He should partner with the developer and the buyer and say, hey, I'll pledge my commission. And now that's 5% less I have to bring to the table. So if they needed 15%.
Look at the light. Look at the light.
I don't even know why I can't sneeze. I've never had this happen before. But
Look
again,
at the light.
so if they need 1.5 million, the broker could use that 500,000, and now they only need $1 million. So he can get creative on how he structures the equity and then the partnership.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy that owns all the land is one of those savant type people that's brilliant, you can tell, but has a really hard time having a conversation.
Yeah, a lot of people like that in this world.
I mean, it's painful. It's
Yep.
painful every time, every conversation. I'm like, okay, but I think it's worth making.
Look,
happen,
it's
so.
worth having a conversation one way or another, and just putting it
Yeah.
out there. Like I said, like people will look at you as being more valuable just from even bringing this option to the table, because I 100% guarantee they've never heard of this option before. And if they have, they probably think it can only be done on one deal, let alone 40 deals or 50 deals.
Yeah. Well, let's talk more about that. I'm interested because I think
Awesome.
there's a bunch of these, and even though they're not huge, things have slowed down a little bit. I'll take what we can get.
Like I said,
Yeah.
look, at the end of it, like, look, you do one deal, you make $2,000 on it. Who cares? You do 50 of them, you just made $100,000.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Look, I always look at it as, all right, you close the deal, like what bill does it pay? You make $2,000, all right, I pay whatever, my mortgage for the month. Hey, I make, $500, all right, I fill up my gas tank for the month. So you can't really look at what you're making on a deal, look at closing the deal and forming the relationship, and then what could potentially come from it. Like I said, you do the development deal, great. Now you do the refinance. You just close 2 deals for the same
Yes.
client.
Exactly. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll reach out to you afterwards.
Awesome. Sounds good. Anybody else have any questions? Mr. Rogers. Hi, Melanie. Who has questions
Hi.
right now? What's going on?
Nothing much.
Anything good?
Just slowed down a little bit for me, but I'm still here.
Everybody's saying the same thing. It's normal. The key right now when things slow down, my main focus was always, get my butt out of the office and get back working in the streets. Like yesterday, I left my house at 6:30 in the morning, and I think I got home at like 7:15 at night, something like that. So I was running around New York City. I went to my meeting in Harlem. I hit a couple real estate offices, stopped in and saw people I hadn't seen in 5 to 10 years, because that's just what I do. And you'd be surprised, like getting back out there, people will probably want to see your face. And if they don't know you, it gives you a great time, to get to know them. So if things are slowing down, don't sit in the office like staring at your phone. I have both my phones right here, staring at them constantly, seeing if they're going to ring, and they ring often. But the key right now is getting back into the street, getting back into meeting people and seeing people. That way, again, out of sight, out of mind. You want to position yourself where if and when they do get a deal or do get an inquiry or do have a scenario, they're going to be calling you first. And I tell everybody, go back and watch all the Zoom at Noons over and over again. I can't tell you how many times I listened to the same audiobook over and over and over again. Go back and watch all the Zoom at Noons if you're quiet, if you're worried about where business is going, and take 1 or 2 or 3 things for each episode and focus on that for the week, and you're going to have business. But right now you got to work for it. I think people got very lazy and just thought, the phone was going to keep ringing. But man, and I've watched this happen multiple times throughout my career. When this faucet turns off, it's turning off and it's not leaking. So, you got to figure out how to go and, turn on more faucets.
Yep. Thanks.
What are you going to, so I need some goals for you for June. What are your goals for June?
My goals for June is to do 100, contact 150 people a week.
So 600 for the
And
month.
then also I've started back doing open houses as well. So that's how I initially kind of got out there.
Yep.
I was doing open houses, so I just kind of started doing that the last couple of weeks as well.
So I'm going to give you a secret sauce tip, and I've told everybody about this before. Few people are capitalizing on it. So we do have our real estate technology company. Everyone can please go to the website that I'm posting inside of the chat. It's reverify.com. Set up your mortgage professional profile. It's free. Set up your account, go to your profile, select your role as mortgage professional, broker, lender, whatever it says, and then go into real estate offices and show them Reverify and tell them to put all of their listings on Reverify, because it's free marketing and free exposure for their listings, and people can submit digital offers in real time where they get notified when somebody submits the offer, and then they can even send you those leads in real time. It's 100% free. You guys will 100% like it. And by the end of July, all the new technology will be built out. We just met with our developers yesterday from Dubai that flew in to meet with us. So if you guys are looking for reasons or topics to talk about with realtors, go and just show them this platform. It's free, like I said, and it's free marketing and exposure for everybody. So, you got to utilize the low hanging fruit that costs nothing. So if you walk into an office, and you're spending money, bringing food, doing all these crazy things, the ROI has to offset that. But if you do something for free of value, right, you have no capital, no dollars invested, your ROI is infinite, right? Because you don't have to make up for any type of cost. So like utilize that accordingly. And you guys will like what, the technology that you see, the functionality that's built out over the next 60 days. Again, I promise you, if you utilize that, or if you even go and buy a couple of the real estate cookbooks that I wrote, people love them. A guy just bought 24 today because he's fearful business has slowed down, which it has, and he's like, I need to get back in the business, back in the street. So he bought 24 copies of my book, and he's going to go and give them to 24 realtors and have one-on-one conversations with them. So if you guys utilize all the tools and the tactics and strategies that we've discussed now since January, it's crazy. We've been doing this for 6 months now. I promise you they will work, but the key is staying consistent. Like consistency compounds. The more consistent you are, the more results that you see. But if you do something one day at a 7, then you got to start over 7 days from now. Try and do something every single day from a level of consistency. So by the time you reach day 10, you have 9 days of momentum behind you. And I think people need to stay focused on that. And I try and do my best to stay virtually relevant and give topics and tips to everybody. But, I still feel like one-on-one conversations are really the best because everyone has a different need and everyone needs to hear a different strategy.
What's the name of the book again?
Sure. I'll put it in the chat. It's just The Realtor's Cookbook.com. I think it takes you right to the Amazon site. If you want to buy in bulk, I think it was $99 to ship, including shipping, to send 24 to this gentleman who's a loan officer in Kansas. It's a very cheap option. I think it comes out to like I said, $4 a book. So if you walk into a realtor's office and hand them that book, they're probably going to automatically want to talk to you because you're handing them a book that helps them and you generate leads. I just think, again, like that's super invaluable in today's world. I think people really need to get back to giving cheap gifts. Like don't tell RESPA or anybody that's a big ball breaker on that because it's probably against RESPA, I would imagine, but whatever, buy the book super cheap and hand it to your real estate agents. And I think people will really take a liking to it. It's different. They probably never heard of it or saw it before. And it literally gives you 57 ways that you and a realtor can work together as a mortgage professional and a realtor to basically tag team the marketplace, both physically and virtually. Does anybody have any other questions on that? Melanie, did you want me, if you want, I can expand on the book and like how it's been useful for other, mortgage professionals to utilize. But, it's like a really fun coffee table read. Like ideally you target 10 or 20 realtors and you do, you pick a couple topics that you guys want to do together. And then you guys are able to, start forming your relationship and then start generating business together.
So do you think these would be good to hand out maybe at an open house, or do you think that I probably need to have more dialogue as far as,
So if you ask me in a perfect world, how would I utilize these? And again, like, it's a numbers game, right? So like buying 20 or 25, like whatever, if you get one or two people that, give you business, great. Me personally, I think I had like 500 that I ordered that I gave out. And I probably got like 20 or 30 deals from it. But again, these are past clients just to say, hey, I'm still here. I'm still relevant. By the way, here's my book I wrote, right? So for me, it was a little bit different. But like for yourself, I would have your graphic designer or marketing company make you a bookmark, right? With your business card as the bookmark and put a QR code on the back of the card, right? So you give them the book, you give them the book card and say, hey, Tanya, hey, I know you have this open house this weekend. I want to drop by, give you my book, right? And then maybe next week we can grab lunch and discuss how the open house went and see how we can work together, right? So I would use one book to target new realtors, new real estate professionals, right? From a business standpoint. And then I would go back in my past database and pull every real estate agent I closed a deal with in the past 3 years, write down their information, order as many books as you've closed. And I would even go as far as the listing agent and the buyer's agent, if there were 2 agents on each deal, and say, hey, remember when we closed 34 Prospect Street in Jersey City? Hey, I just wanted to, maybe grab lunch. I got you a gift. I want to, reconnect. I haven't seen you in 7 months or 15 months, however long that is, right? And then you could track everyone you give a book to, how long it takes for them to send you a lead, right? So people are spending thousands and thousands of dollars on leads. Well, if a book costs you $4 and they give you a lead, right? Now you have that relationship, it costs you $4, and now they give you a lead. If you close that deal and make $2,000, what's your ROI on $4 investment to make $2,000 in commission, right? That's a big number. It's like 500x. So that's my strategy. I work more in like the numbers game and then figure out the select percentage that buys what I'm selling and then focus all my attention on them. The other ones that don't ever come back, they still have your bookmark, your QR code. When they scan the QR code, you would get notified that they scanned the QR code, which means that you're now in front of their mind. So you always want to give real estate agents something to leave them with, right? Like, for example, my son left me this rock. It sits on my desk, right? Like my daddy rocks. That was the theme of it. I keep it on my desk. So every time I see the rock, I think of my son, right? So if you give somebody a gift and they keep it on their desk or at their home, every time they see it, they're going to think of you. So that's that like kind of subliminal strategy of how to stay relative and insight in mind, rather than, hey, I haven't talked to you in 18 months. We disconnected, we lost touch, whatever the case may be. Get back in front of them, give them value, and leave them with something that they're not going to throw out. I've never met somebody that threw out a book. That's a value,
Okay, thanks, Jeff.
You're welcome. I hope it works.
I hope so too. We'll try it.
Anybody else have any questions or anything? It's 12:41. You guys let me know. Tanya, I know we'll have a catch-up call after this. Chris, you got anything down there in Georgia for me?
No, I was actually going to ask you about maybe reaching out to you here a little bit later this afternoon as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm working out.
Time.
Yeah, I'm working out my trainer 2:30 to 3:30 Eastern time. Then I have a meeting at my gym 3:30 to 4:30. So anytime after 5, or just shoot me a text and we can coordinate what time works best for the both of us.
Okay, I can do a little after 5, right around 5 o'clock.
Perfect. So yeah, just shoot me a text and then we'll get you on for 5 o'clock and then we'll hopefully be able to go over some good stuff.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Does anybody have any questions before we hop off this call? If not, hold your peace until next time. And again, I know a couple people said they're interested in a boot camp. Maybe I'll start putting something like that together and seeing if we can get some more interest. All right, guys. Have a great week. Remember, what's that?
Oh, hey, I was going to say thanks for putting this on. I think the boot camp will be great. I actually thanks for the plug on Re-Verify as well. I'm actually signing up for that now, and I'm going to tell a few of my realtor friends about it. It's pretty cool.
My man, like I said, look, here's what I'll tell you, right? It's one of those things where, Paul, and I've said this my entire life, like what I say is unconventional. What I say is usually not said to the masses, but if you actually blindly trust what I say, Paul, I promise you it will work, right? The key to getting mortgage business is not talking about mortgages. It's talking about everything else. And the more you talk about other things other than the mortgage business with people, right? And the more you put people on, the more they're going to like you and think you have more secrets that you can share with them, and the more business that they're going to send you because they think that's how valuable you really are. Promise you that.
Yeah, especially if it's free.
Especially if it's free. And again, look, people are spending thousands of dollars a month on leads and exposure and all this other crap, MLS fees, MLS dues, this, that, and the third. This is a free platform to market your listings. The listing agents get 100% of the exclusive buyer leads. And if you bring this to them, they have every single reason to give you all the leads that they come to for free and give you the mortgages because you put them onto something of value for free.
Absolutely. I've got a few realtors I need to follow up with today. So
it's a great topic of discussion. Yeah. Hey, did you hear about this new technology company? It's based out of New York City. I'm friends with the founder of it. You ever want to hop on a call? Let's hop on a call together, get your listings on there and get your free marketing exposure done. And then wait to see how the community shapes up. That's how I would sell it all day, every day.
Tech company based out of New York. I know the owner. That's important. Yeah. Name drop.
Yep. He hosts weekly calls. Hey, why don't you hop on our Zoom call and see what it's all about? Hey, why don't you guys, learn about other lending products? Hey, why don't we grab lunch? And then, he said he's going to send us a couple books so we could go over the book together. Like, you need to add value right now that no one else is adding. And the only way of doing that is by thinking outside the box, which very few people in our industry like to do.
Yeah. How much are those books, by the way?
It comes out to about, depending on the quantity, it comes out to about $4, which includes the book and shipping. So again, it was, in order to ship 24 books to Kansas, it was $99.84. So
that's not bad.
It's not bad at all. I make I think $5. I'm not doing it to make money. I'm doing it to help people get business because it actually works. And what's in the book is more valuable than anything else.
Of course. There's a cost associated with so that people can have skin in the game, right?
Yeah, and again, I look at books today are like an extended business card, right?
Of course.
That's all it really is. The more you like the content, the more you're going to buy into everything else that I do. Hopefully the more likely you are to join Reverify, and the more you're a part of the community that we're building. And that's really what the key is right now. Like, community has to be a focus. With all the crazy stuff going on, the shooting in Texas that makes me sick to my stomach, which everyone I'm sure feels the same way in sentiment about, right? Like, we need to get back to community so people know who they're dealing with, and we're a united front. If we're not united, this country's going to fall to crap really quick.
Big time.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 1000%, man.
So, Paul, if you need anything, my phone's always on, man. Let me know. If you want, shoot me a text. My cell phone's in the chat. And guys, if I don't hear from anybody, do you have any other questions, anybody? Anybody?
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, guys. Talk to you guys
Thank
soon.
you.
Have a great week.
Thank you.
See you guys soon. You're welcome.